Hey guys, so yesterday I had YouTube playing some stuff in my office while I was working, and it shuffled onto an Esther Hicks video. And I know she is like, some people love her and some people hate her. People that consider themselves to be followers, adherents of Neville Goddard and the law of assumption, as if anything he says or anything about the law of assumption is different from the law of attraction or any of the other shit or anything anyone really is talking about in this area. I know a lot of those people hate her. They just can't stand her. Like, it's not that they just don't like her. It's that there's like this extra kind of disgust whenever she's brought up. And I just kind of couldn't believe it. I was listening to this video in the background, and she was basically describing, you know, how you get what you want, which is basically everything you want is waiting in what she calls the vortex, which is really the vortex is just another way of saying, your imagination and creation is finished, and essentially it's just there. It's ready to materialize. The second you conceptualize it and feel a desire for it, it's there for the taking, essentially. But, you know, she talks about broadcasting the frequency that allows that to show up. And, you know, people like Neville Goddard never talked about frequency, even though he did. He talked about vibrating and frequency in at least one of his books a lot. But she's basically talking about living in the end, essentially, which is sending out the frequency, having your mind at the frequency where that thing will materialize. And that the mistake that people make is then focusing on what they don't want, like the things in their life that they don't have or whatever, falling out of that frequency. I mean, this is Neville Goddard. This is Neville Goddard to a T. And I was just really shocked as I was listening to this at how spot on she is, and it's really just the language that I think sounds weird and didn't make any sense to people. Or my guess is that disgust that people feel for like law of attraction versus law of assumption is just because they failed completely to make anything happen when they were into the law of attraction. So this is something different. They haven't failed that yet. That would be my guess. But I have a point here. This was making me think about my process, that how I manifest, how I materialize what I want in my life, which I have 100% hit rate at doing now. And so I wanted to share. I made a video on this channel not that long ago, maybe it was a year ago actually, called the most advanced manifestation technique, and which is just knowing. It's just knowing something's going to happen. It's not doing any, it's not. It's basically dropping all of the techniques that are meant to get you to that place and just going straight to that place. And of course, if you can do it, you can do it, and should not distract yourself with the rest of this shit. Take it from me, trust me on this. You should do that. But if not, then all the techniques that you do are meant to get you into that place in the first place. That's the whole purpose. You know, people talk about impressing the subconscious mind with images or whatever. Nobody even knows how any of that shit works. This is all just people talking. It's all just to get you to that place where you're certain, where you feel that this thing is sure to happen, or you feel like the person with whom that belongs, and it's just not present yet. That's basically Esther Hicks talking about the frequency and the vortex and all that stuff. That's it. And so I wanted to talk about what I do when there's something that comes up, essentially, that I don't like. Obviously not everything that I start to have a desire for is just a sure thing for me. I know that if I really want it, then I'll have that sense of certainty that it's going to happen, because that's sort of my fail safe. I know if I really want something, it's sure to happen. Whatever has to happen to get me to the point where I'm in the state of fulfillment regarding that desire, I know it will happen. But I don't get to that point lightly. I don't decide that I want something on a whim. And this is Esther Hicks talking about broadcasting a frequency. If you're double-minded about whether or not you want something, that will be part of that frequency. That'll be where you exist. You'll be in this place one day and in this place the next day about this thing that you want, or back and forth every hour or every minute. That's that's the frustration of all of this. And so I wanted to just talk about quickly, I mean, this is nothing earth-shattering, how I deal with that, with, you know, if I have a small desire for something, how I get it to the point where I'm sure about it and where it can happen. So when something is just like a small desire for me, it's just like, you know, like recent, I'll give you an example. Recently, I was in a different area where I live, and because I get Starbucks eggs in the morning, and I had to go to a different one to get what I wanted, because they've been sold out of what I wanted at the Starbucks near me for long. So I had to drive like 10 minutes out of the way. And I was driving around this area, and I thought, man, I love it here. It's really nice here. I really think I'd like to move here, because the house that I bought last January was sort of just, it was a spur of the moment purchase to remove myself from a situation that was going downhill where I lived. And so it wasn't, you know, I didn't have time to dream up exactly what I wanted and to, you know, start to make what the ideal thing happen. It was just kind of like, my mind was elsewhere. My dad had just died, and it was just sort of like, oh, here's the solution to our problem. It was a solution to a problem, not an ideal situation. And it happened literally in a day. Like, I saw the house, whatever. I've got videos on this channel about that. But it's not ideal, and it's not, it's definitely, you know, not where I want to end up living. So this desire has been born to move to this other town. It's very small. This just happened. I have not thought it through. You know, it's still just kind of in the background. I have no desire to move. It's only been 2 years since I moved. 1 year since I moved. Oh my God. It's only been, it was last January. So it's only been like, 16 months since I moved. Definitely don't want to do that again, but like, my house is way too small. Me and Matt live there, and it's just like cram full of shit. So that's where I'm at with that. That is the birth of a new desire, right? It just happened a couple days ago. I'm nowhere near being to the point where I want this to actually happen. Nowhere near. Like, I do not want a magical house to present itself for a magical price. I am not there. That's like a brand new baby. Okay. But for another desire, like when I first started this channel, and I immediately got a bunch of subscribers, and I think probably at that point, I have 10,000 now. I think probably at that point, 10,000 wasn't a number that concerned me very much. Like, I figured, okay, the difference between 100 and 1,000 is not that big of a difference. And so that's just kind of been anything having to do with this channel growing has been just kind of like a minor desire on the back burner. But now that I've hit that 10,000 mark, I'm thinking more, do I want to do more with this channel? Like, do I want just more subscribers? Like, do I want this to be bigger and to reach more people? So for something like that, where it's been around for a few years, it's been consistent. So I know it's not just like a passing fancy that I don't want to waste any time or energy on. That's the kind of thing where I will actually think about whether or not I want it. So what are the pros and cons, essentially, of this maybe desire manifesting? You know, will I feel, because you know, when I think about having 100,000 or more subscribers to this channel, it creates a sensation, a feeling. You know, when I just imagine actually being in that situation, okay, I have 100,000 subscribers to this YouTube channel. What does that mean? Does it mean anything? Like, is it completely meaningless? Because if so, then go for it. You know, boom, make it happen. But that is not generally the case with things that you manifest. They generally come with a whole bag of experiences and unintended benefits and consequences. And so, you know, I sit and think about something like that. I feel the resistance and let it articulate itself, you know? So what is it? Well, that's a lot of exposure. You know, I don't know that I really want this to become, you know, do I really want what I'm talking about here to become like a bag of my professional self or whatever? You know, do I really want this to be like something that is a known part of my life? Do I want to, in my mind, I'm kind of thinking, oh, what would I have to do then? And I'm thinking, oh God, I would have to talk to people. I would have to go on podcasts. I would have to collaborate with other content creators in this space. I would have to do all this stuff. That's what creates a sense of resistance for me. And that's what keeps me from putting any focus or energy on that particular thing, like manifesting more subscribers. Manifesting stuff is easy. It's easy. It's like Esther Hicks says, really, you just broadcast the frequency without turning the frequency to some other, channel, and it materializes. And so, I had yesterday, I was thinking about this, and I was like, well, you know what? I don't have to do anything, really. Like these ideas that I have about how my life might change in a way I don't like are just ideas, and they need to be thought about and worked out, and then that feeling goes away. Would I have, if this channel had 100,000 subscribers, would I have to then do what I see everybody else who has 100,000 subscribers doing? No. Like, I've never really thought about this before. There's just a sense of obligation that crept up, like it does, for whatever reason, for me, from some belief system that I'm still buying into, where I would have to do blah, blah, blah. I have obligations, in my mind for certain things. When certain things happen, I have obligations. Am I obligated to do that? No. Am I obligated to do anything that would violate my own personal code? No. Is that really, in the grand scheme of YouTube viewership, is 100 versus 10,000 really that big of a jump? Is it really that big of a difference? Like, is it really that much more exposure? Probably not. Would it be a big deal if, like, my actual real life circle of people somehow, like, knew that I was doing this? Like, have I said anything here that I would really regret? Or do I think, would it cause a problem there? That's the part I don't really like. I don't really want to share this with the people I know. I mean, my fiance and my ex, who are the two people that I spend the most time talking to, they both know about it. I met Matt through it. But so, I just kind of go through all this stuff to try to work out any sense of, I want it on this hand, but I don't want it on this hand. I do this for anything that I want, like the house in the other area. Well, I'd have to move. That sucks. And I definitely feel some resistance about that. They talk about resistance like it's not a thing. It is definitely a thing. You can feel it probably thinking about whatever it is you want. It's there. It's a thing. It's real. It's real. And it definitely factors into the whole manifestation process. I'd have to move. It would be more expensive. Mortgage rates are high, and I probably would just decide to buy it in cash, which means I would have to have a large amount of cash on hand, put it in this house without selling my other house that I already own outright first. So it'd be like tying up a lot of cash. So I don't think I want that right now, but a year from now, I just doubled my business over the winter. A year from now, there's a good chance that I could have that amount of cash available that doesn't need to be tied up. The economy is a little weird right now. There might be a better opportunity coming up in the future. Housing prices have inflated a lot around here, and they're still at inflated prices. So they're probably not, going to go up that much. This is kind of where I'm at. I'm just thinking about it. It's like, okay, I want it. There are some issues that, I can just sit back and allow life to unfold. This isn't something I need to start manifesting instantly. It's something that, as my dad's great advice says, you don't have to make any decisions about this today. You don't have to make a plan about this today. Okay, I know where I'm at with this desire. It's a baby. It's being watered a little bit here and there. It'll grow. There's no reason to focus on it. With this other desire about YouTube subscribers and that whole thing, just my involvement in this space of new thought or whatever it is. Okay, that's a little, it's a different story. That might be something that I'm ready to move forward on. I did this yesterday at the gym about this channel. I was walking around the track and I was just working it out. I was repeating to myself over and over again, I have 100,000 subscribers on my YouTube channel, and just sitting with it, letting it kind of, you know, what does that feel like? Okay, I have it right now. What does that feel like? What does that mean? It means almost nothing. It means, you know, it just essentially means I'm still making videos on this channel, but that a lot more people have subscribed. Maybe other people in my life know about it. Who cares? Really? Work that out. Don't really have to do anything I don't want to do. You know, you don't have to do stuff. You know, just because you achieve a level of, I guess, success that other people have achieved doesn't mean you have to do what they do to get it. I know that. I have built my entire business exactly the way I want it. My business doesn't even have phone customer service. If you knew how big my business was without having phone customer service, that's usually the thing people can't believe. I was talking to Tim about it the other day. He can't believe I still do my own taxes for it either. I just, you know, I've built everything else exactly the way I want it, so it doesn't involve things that I don't want to have in it, because if it did, I wouldn't want to do it. If my business had to have customer service and I had to be involved in that in any way, I mean, it has email. You can email about your order and stuff. But like, if I had to be involved in that in the early days when it was me doing everything, it wouldn't have gone anywhere, because I hate doing customer service. So in the beginning, I was just like, you know what? No, we're just going to have email customer service, and that's it. And if people don't like it, they can shop somewhere else. I only want the customers that are willing to buy stuff without being able to call and order it and discuss what they want to buy and discuss their lives and everything else for like a half hour and waste my time all day. That was how I started building that from the beginning. And so this YouTube channel, I'm kind of doing the same thing with it, I think. Like, I have not gone on lots and lots of podcasts that have asked me to be on. I haven't collaborated with a lot of people that I think, you know, would have wanted that. I know a few people definitely already asked me to do a collaboration with them, and I didn't want to do it. And so, you know, I didn't want to have to do anything to grow this channel other than make videos that provided value for free, and, you know, post it on my subreddit, post it on the Neville Goddard subreddit back in the day. That's it. I didn't want to do anything else. And I continue to not want to have to do anything else. But I will tell you this, after I worked that all out, after I, you know, about 10 minutes, it was the end of my walk at the gym. As I was walking out of the gym, I immediately thought I should write a book. Like, it just came to me, I should write a book. I've said for a few years, the only thing I would ever, you know, it's possible I'd write a book at some point, but that was just like, that might happen. I didn't have any plans to. I literally had no plans, no urge, like no movement at all in that area. Like, just didn't. All of a sudden when I was walking out, I was like, I should write a book. I should just write a book essentially encapsulating everything that this channel is about and fleshing it out and putting it in logical order in a way that somebody could pick up, read, and use, and then just give it away for free. That hit me literally walking out of the gym after just doing this. And I thought, wow, you know, it's amazing. Like, that just happened. It came to me out of nowhere to do that. And I bet you that is something that would get my channel to 100,000 subscribers if something I wrote actually got any traction. Which, who knows if it would. But that is interesting. And that's how it plays out for me. That's simple. It's those feelings of resistance that are there towards things, reasoning them out, reasoning them away. And if you can't reason them away, you may have a valid concern. You might want to reevaluate your desire, you know? And, you know, when I say reason away things, essentially what I'm saying is manifest the thing you want without the downsides. That's what that is. There are a lot of ways for the thing you want to happen, and it doesn't have to come with the cons that are the things that create resistance to getting it for you. You know, just think about it. Sit with it and think about it. Use your very bright and intelligent and capable mind, your computer up there, to work this stuff out, to come to a point where, you know, and for some things I really, you know, I've heard people say, oh, just have kids and then you don't have to be a parent to the kids or something, to people who want kids but don't think they would like the idea of being a parent. I don't know. I'd be careful about stuff like that. I'd be careful about thinking, that you personally, at whatever level of belief you're at or whatever you're doing with your life, I'd be careful about thinking that you can manifest something that generally comes with ironclad responsibilities and stuff without having any of the responsibilities, just because you thought that that's the way it would happen. I'd be very careful about that if I were you. Anyway, so I hope that helped. Once I get to the point where I don't have any double-mindedness, or there's not a feeling of resistance every time I think about the thing I might want to get, once that's gone, it just flows straight to it. I can't, that's what it feels like. That's what my mind's eye sees. It's like jumping on a river that is rushing towards the materialization of that desire. So if you can get to the point where you can do that, the things of the world become a lot less important because they're so easy to get. So anyway, I hope that did something for someone. Have a great day.